Hello, it's Miss Ferguson again, your English Composition 1 teacher. This second video is going to overview our syllabus. As I mentioned in the first video, ensure that you log into Canvas and read our most recent announcements, okay? More than likely, you are viewing this particular video because you went to our second announcement for the class. Please be very conscientious in looking at your weekly announcements because I do have a Monday and a Friday announcement usually to overview just the week's happenings and any reminders that you need about assignments, okay? So again, be conscientious in looking at our weekly announcements and also printing out those checklists as I mentioned with the first video. Now we're going to scroll down because we mentioned a lot of the modules in the first video. The main section I want us to look at right now is we're going to be looking at our syllabus section. Now the first thing is I'm going to be overviewing a PowerPoint in a moment in this video. If you want to print out that PowerPoint for your reference, it's A2 and that's underneath Module 3, the syllabus module. Feel free to print it out so you have it as a visual reference because I know some of you don't want to print out the long text version of the syllabus, okay? The other thing that you may want to print out again is our online weekly checklist. Now this is for the entire semester. Now when you click on that B, this is what you're going to have right here. This is a schedule for the entire semester from the first week to the last week of class, and you'll notice that this lines up with the weekly checklist that I give you. As far as for this week, you need to again get to know Canvas, get to know our course, and you have 2 assignments due this week. You have the email to the instructor, and there's going to be more information about that in that assignment. When you click on the assignment name, there's a video that overviews that assignment. And then secondly, you're going to have your first online discussion post, and that particular assignment is also outlined in the assignment. When you click on it, there's a short video overviewing it. So make sure that you print out these weekly or for the whole semester so you know what to expect, okay? Now let's go back to our modules page. The next important thing is our methods of evaluation, okay? When you click on this particular document, it's going to show you how I calculate your grades. Now, I'm not going to spend too long on this particular document because the PowerPoint we're going to overview outlines these assignments as well, okay? But this is how I'm going to calculate your grade, okay? Then we have, of course, our policies and procedures. If you click on that, these are our policies right here. I'm going to talk about those in more detail with the PowerPoint as well, but make sure that you print these documents or at least save them so they're easily accessible. So you make sure that you follow the rules and policies and procedures of our course. And these are set by the college, Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, but also by Mississippi Virtual Community College, since this is an online class. So let me go first to the PowerPoint because I want to make sure we outline some important things this semester. So I'm going to make our screen a little smaller and we're going to overview the syllabus. So again, this is English Composition 1, ENG 1113. I did want to give you a little information about myself. I know with the welcome video, it was just an introduction to the course and its organization, but I do want you to know a little bit about myself. I am originally from Jones County, from Ellisville, Mississippi, a very small town. It didn't really get notoriety until Matthew McConaughey was involved in the film Free State of Jones, and that kind of brought some notoriety to that area. I grew up there and later actually stayed for a year after I graduated high school to attend a college, community college, Jones Junior College, but now it's called Jones College. And I spent a year there. While I was there, I was in the choir and I was also in Touch of Gold, which was the kick line, okay? And I enjoyed my time there, but it did feel a bit like 13th grade is what we would joke since I knew a lot of the people still there. So I later transferred to Mississippi State University. And when I was at Mississippi State, I received my degree in secondary English education, but I decided to stay on after I received my undergraduate degree and went on to receive a graduate degree in English literature. And while I was at Mississippi State, I was very lucky. I was a teaching assistant, but there at Mississippi State, you don't just assist, you teach. So I was 21 years old teaching, and 17, 18, and 19-year-olds developmental English and English Composition 1. So I had to mature quite quickly. After I was toward the end of my graduate degree program, I did drive to Meridian 2 nights a week to teach an English Composition 1 class before I graduated. And then after I graduated, I stayed and I worked as a lecturer at Mississippi State, but I also worked at a community college, East Mississippi Community College. They have a branch in Mayhew, which is about 15 minutes from Starkville. And after I finished at Mississippi State, I was ready to go somewhere else. So I decided to relocate to Jackson, Mississippi, where I taught at Hinds Community College. I stayed there for a year. I realized very, very quickly that I'm not a fan of a big city and traffic. So essentially, I just wanted to, of course, branch out and go somewhere else. And that's what led me to Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. Now, as far as Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, I've been here for 16 years. I've enjoyed my time here. But as far as teaching, that's not the only aspect of my life. I have a husband, Jason. We've been married for 15 years. I have 2 young sons. Ian is the oldest. He is 11. And then Rowan is the youngest at 9. You'll probably notice I love Star Wars. I'm a huge fan of Luke Skywalker. He was my first love. I do think it's funny, as my husband's gotten older, people have said he looks like Mark Hamill as he's aged. So I guess subconsciously I married my first love. And I also love Yoda. In fact, my husband made my day when my last birthday, he gave me the child from The Mandalorian. And I was really excited about that. So if you ever want to talk sci-fi or Star Wars, I'd love to do that. I did mention that I want you to stay in contact with me. I have my email addresses as well as my phone numbers listed in the slideshow, and I highly encourage you to contact me about any assignments. If you have questions or if you're having issues submitting on Canvas, you can submit those assignments via email if Canvas is down, because sometimes network issues happen. So please, I know we're an online class, but don't let this computer screen, this black mirror, be a wall between us. I want us to have this connection back and forth. And to do that, you need to communicate with me, whether it's, again, through telephone or through email or even in person. I know right now with COVID-19, we're having to socially distance, but you can still come by my office and we can visit in a socially distanced 6 feet apart, whether it's in my office or it's in the hallway or outside if the weather's nice. If you want to come and see me, I did want to let you know that my office is located in a new place right now. We are having to socially distance from our coworkers because we don't want an outbreak of COVID-19 at our campus. So right now I have a temporary office. You'll notice right here in blue, it's located in our new STEM building, which is wonderful. It's about twice the size of the office as what I used to have. And I will be there temporarily probably for the next few months. Sometimes before or after my other classes that meet on campus, I do have moments where I'm in my old office. That's in the Learning Resources Center, room 132. So in either capacity, please try to come see me during my office hours. And I do have those listed for you here. You'll notice on Fridays, I'm in my office for my office hours the whole day. Those can be virtual if you want to meet with me. We can try to do a web conferencing, like a Google Hangout, or we can, do a WebEx meeting if you'd like, or if you just want to talk on the phone or meet in person, that is fine with me. So please come by and see me. I look forward to meeting with you in a more personal setting. Okay, our next slide is going to overview our major assignments this semester. You're going to notice for week 1, you are going to email an instructor. It may be an email to me or to one of your other teachers this semester. This is just to show me that you understand how to communicate in a very formal, professional manner. Now, before you write that email, please check out all the resources, the notes and handouts, and also the instructional video that's associated with the assignment before composing your email. Your second assignment is going to be your first online discussion. And as far as your online discussions, you do need to ensure that you follow formal writing skills. Think about as far as grammatical correctness, but also think about formality and your tone. And also, if you use any research, you need to give credit in MLA format. Now, some of these other assignments, I'm not going to go over them in detail on this slide. I'm going to actually have individual slides that overview those. So let's go to the next few slides. Now, your first essay will actually be a diagnostic essay. Now, the diagnostic essay is going to be an essay known as a literacy narrative. We'll talk about that in more detail when we get to that assignment, where I'll give you thorough instructions on completing it. Now, this essay, when you first turn it in, will not be for a grade. Now, it's going to be a complete or incomplete type of scenario. But later in the semester, you are going to revise that essay and submit it as a final draft, and that final draft will be considered a grade. It will be one of your 4 test essays this semester. But when you complete your diagnostic essay, ensure that you proofread it and it's your best work, because I need to see what your best work is. And also, I am going to give you a hypothetical grade. If this had been the first draft, a final draft, what you would receive on that grade. And I'm going to use a rubric so I can show you how I'm going to grade your essays. Now, as far as your other test essays, besides the literacy narrative that you're going to turn in as a diagnostic and then as a, final draft for a grade, you're going to have 3 other test essays. You're going to have an example essay, a comparison and contrast essay, and a career narrative. And as far as those essays, they're going to be 11.25% each. So a total of 45%. Make sure that you submit those test essays on their due dates, because they're a major portion of your grade for Comp 1. This right here is the rubric I'm going to use to grade those essays. So you may want to check this out so you know my expectations. And these aren't just my expectations, they're the Language Arts Department's expectations here at the college. On the next slide, you're going to see that I do overview our extra credit. As far as your test essays, the ones I just mentioned in the previous slide, you are going to be able to take 3 of those graded test essays to one of our Learning Lab English instructors, and you can receive tutoring. Now, you can do that either physically on campus. Now, I'm going to recommend, of course, our Jackson County English lab instructor. His name is Ivan Filipoff, and you can call or you can email and make an appointment with him to actually come on campus with your test essay. You can bring 1 at a time, or if you want to bring 2 at a time. Try not to bring all 3, because that would be a lot for one sitting. But you can bring those essays and you can sit down and receive tutoring, and then he'll give you a little slip of paper. And if you'll just photograph that slip of paper to verify the tutoring and email it to me, you will receive 5 points on the essay that you receive tutoring on. If you receive tutoring on all 3 of your test essays, obviously that would be 5 points on each of those. Now, you can also do this virtually if you don't want to step foot on campus, especially since most of you are going to be online students this semester. You can, email him. You can always scan your essay, send it to him, and then he can always send back some recommendations, or you can even set up a WebEx where you converse with each other, and he'd give you more information about that. But I'd highly recommend Mr. Filipoff. However, you can go to Harrison County or Perkinson's campuses to their Learning Lab instructors and receive tutoring. Just ask if they email me, of course, Ms. Ferguson, to verify the tutoring so I can give you your 5 points. All right, other assignments, your online discussions. Again, this first week, you're going to, post your first online discussion, which this one's more of a get to know you scenario, and you'll understand what I mean when you see the first online discussion post. But you will have one later in the semester that's a little more scholarly. So make sure you check out the rules of etiquette in relationship to online discussion posts before you actually complete those assignments. This is the rubric that I'm going to use to grade your online discussion, okay? You also are going to have 4 grammar quizzes this semester. They're going to be relating to parts of speech, run-ons and comma splices, fragments, and subject-verb agreement, as well as pronoun antecedent agreement. Those are usually the errors that kind of trump most students in their essays, and we want to try to resolve those so they don't hurt your essay grades. So make sure you view all the slideshows and videos and handouts relating to the grammar lessons, and then take the grammar quiz. And you'll have 3 different attempts with the grammar quiz, and the highest grade will be the grade that's posted, okay? Professional writing, this semester we are going to be doing some writing assignments that are more for a professional setting, an employee setting, such as a cover letter, a resume, as well as a visual resume. A visual resume is just a slideshow version of your resume with photographs, and it's a little bit more personalized. And each of those are 2.5% each. These are the rubrics I'm going to use for your cover letter, your resume, your visual resume. You may want to reference those. Most of our writings are going to be in MLA format, but we are also going to have an APA abstract. That's just a summary, okay, of an article that you're going to be asked to find. And APA stands for American Psychological Association. It's just another style of research writing that we want you to learn. And it will be an assigned topic. You find an article about that topic, you read the article, and then you write a summary of the article. And it'll have a title page, a summary abstract page, and a reference page, which is like a works cited page. Your final will not be a test. It will actually be a researched essay. So instead of an exam, there's no comprehensive exam, you're going to actually have the final. Now in the next video, which will be much shorter, I am going to talk about less about the assignments and more about our policies and procedures. So check out that video next.